How is it going, Bears fans? Welcome back to another episode of Bear Down Uncut, where we talk everything Bears every day of the week. Is Kyle Long calling out the Bears, and was 2020 the right time for him to retire? We're going to be discussing these topics and many more today in episode number 49 of Uncut. Welcome back to the show, guys. I would like to say before I introduce myself and my co-hosts that we are very close to 1.7k subs. So if you are new to the channel and want Bears content every day of the week, do us a favor, subscribe by clicking the red button, click the bell for notifications, and also like the video if you are returning to the channel. I am your host, Chris Malpe, and today I am joined with my co-hosts Parth and Jaylen McClinton. Been a couple days since we recorded. We took the weekend off. It's a bit of a weird time in the off season right now. Feels good to be back in the saddle, though. Guys, how's it going?
It's going good. Yeah, it was a little weird to not be recording, especially because we were used to grinding out videos during the weekend, but here we are, recording more videos.
Yeah, definitely. It was definitely a vacation for me. I spent the last couple of days in Los Angeles, so it was definitely a fun time. I'm glad we got a break after all the grinding we did for like the last 3 or 4 months.
All right, so today we are here to talk about Kyle Long. Definitely not a topic that we thought we would be discussing coming into this offseason at all. But I'm going to read through a little bit of Kyle Long's accolades in Chicago, and then I'm going to talk about his, Twitter rant this morning about the Bears. So, Kyle Long spent 7 seasons in Chicago. He was the 20th overall pick in the 2013 NFL Draft. One of Phil Emery's better picks, I would say. He was on the 2013 All-Rookie team. He played 16 games in 2 of his first 3 seasons, 15 games in 2014. He missed 1 game. And since 2015, he's only played a maximum of 9 games per season, so really dropped off. That being said, still incredibly productive throughout his career. Only 26 career penalties, 3 per season, but he did have 9 in 2015, so his penalty ratio actually very good. He was a second-team All-Pro player in 2014 and also is a 3-time Pro Bowler. So let's get to today. Obviously, the Bears announced in January that Long retired, but here we go. Rumors sparked earlier this offseason that Long was talking to the New York Jets, but they were shut down by Long. But recently today, he spoke about returning to the NFL on Twitter. Now, he basically said if he were to return, he would not be playing for the Bears. So, the first thing he tweeted is, "I didn't retire, I got fired. I will know with conviction whether I'm done for good or not in the next few weeks. Full transparency, I miss football. At what cost? But I'm most likely going to be on the golf course instead of gridiron." So it seems like the likelihood of him actually coming back is not that likely. He also tweeted out, "I've seen the writing on the wall for a while. The Bears did it right. They gave me every opportunity to get healthy. Any other team in the league would have cut me years ago. I'm talking years ago." So he did credit the Bears before somewhat bashing him. I said it earlier, but it seems like the odds of him returning are slim. And he also did say in the past, "The Bears did me right, and I wanted to do right by them. I'll never wear another set of colors but navy and orange. I take pride in that. A lot of guys have gone and played somewhere else when their time came, and it tarnished their legacy in my mind." So Long said that he'll never wear colors that aren't the Bears, and it seems like that's still pretty likely. But he also said he'll know with conviction whether or not he is retiring in the coming weeks. Now, the tweet that sparked everything is he said in another tweet, someone asked him, why don't you come back to Chicago? And he said that he wouldn't include a reunion with the Bears unless there is a new staff in place. So, obviously he wasn't too specific. I know we all know that Matt Nagy is someone who is incredibly into competition. And, having the best man win regardless of who it is. It could be an undrafted free agent or a 5-year veteran. So, Jaylen, I want to start with you. Who do you think Long is referencing to that I guess, did him dirty or threw him under the bus on the Bears' coaching staff? And this can also be someone in the front office as well.
So when I first read that tweet, I had like a mini brain fart and thought he was talking about the offensive line staff. Thinking he's talking about Harry Heinsohn and stuff like that. But then I remember we fired him, and now we have Juan Castillo or something like that. So then I realized he wasn't talking about him. He hasn't played under Juan Castillo yet. So that's when I kind of realized he was talking about maybe Nagy or Pace or something like that. So I feel like that's definitely huge because a lot of people like Nagy. Nagy is a good coach in my opinion. He's a player's coach, and for Kyle Long, who's who's been one of the longest. I think he's the longest tenure bear. When he retired, he's the longest tenure bear before he retired. To come out and say something like that, who's been through a lot of head coaches, it was kind of odd to me. But I don't know.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. Nagy has been someone in the past who has said that competition breeds success, and I think in all walks of life, that is probably the right thing. I mean, you always want winners on your team, whether it's at an office, like in some sort of business, or it's on the football field. I mean, competition breeds success, and I don't know if Nagy pulled him over. By the way, Long did say that at halftime, week 4 against the Oakland Raiders in London, that's when he found out, or basically decided that he was going to retire or quit or whatever, get fired. I don't know, but I don't know. I feel like it might be a shot at Nagy. That being said, Nagy always runs a great locker room. We've seen tons of players in the past say that he runs a great locker room. I think there's no denial about that, even though Kyle Long said this. But that being said, getting fired, Long dealt with a ton of injuries since 2015. I talked about it. He's only played a maximum of 9 games per season since 2015, and that came in 2016. So Long has dealt with a ton of injuries, and I think, honestly, he may have been calling out Nagy, but I don't think that Nagy's in the wrong here. I saw a comment on Instagram earlier, but it's like getting fired after you call in sick for work like 8 of 16 weeks. So I kind of get where the Bears are at in this one. It's not me dissing Kyle Long. I love Kyle Long. But that being said, I do think this was a shot at Matt Nagy. So Parth, I want to pass it to you. You said you had a lot to say. So what were your thoughts on this, and who do you think Long is really referencing to here?
I'm 100% sure he's referencing to Matt Nagy. This whole culture here in Chicago has changed once Matt Nagy's joined Chicago, with past coaches, a lot of players have taken it easy, have taken it laid back. With Alshon Jeffrey, Martellus Bennett, we've known how that's been through Mark Trestman and John Fox. Matt Nagy doesn't take crap from players. If either you show up and you play or you don't. He's benched Mitchell Trubisky in the past. He's taken out players if they don't work as hard, and he loves competition. Whether, like you said, it's a first-round talent winning the job, or a 7th-round or an undrafted free agent winning the job. Whatever it takes, he wants the best player out there. And Kyle Long was not the best player out there at right guard, and it hasn't been for a very long time. He hasn't been able to stay healthy, and he hasn't been able to produce when he's on the field either, in my opinion. So, for him to come out and diss the Chicago Bears and the coach was kind of petty, I'd say. And like you had brought up that analogy of The Office, I thought of something like, a girl gets broken up with a guy and then she just goes all over her Snapchat and just acts all petty. That's what I thought about. He's just acting like your boss fired you. Like, you take it and move on. Either you go find a new job or you retire like he did, or
absolutely.
Quit, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. So to read a little bit more about Long's stats, so the Bears have played, I believe, 64 games in the past 4 seasons since 2016. Does that sound right? 16 a season. Yeah, that's good enough math. And Kyle Long has played in only 30 of those games and only has started in 29 of those games. So you'd think that's around 47 or 48% of the last 4 seasons of games that Kyle Long has played. He came out today and said that the Bears did the right thing. So I don't know if Nagy just kind of sat down with him and was completely honest with him, or what happened, but I don't think the Bears are really in the wrong here. And I think that if Kyle Long thought he could be healthy and thought he could come back, he could come back to the Bears. But that being said, seems like he doesn't want to come back to Chicago unless a new staff is in place. And I don't think firing a head coach just to get a right guard back that has only played in 29 of your last 64 games is the right thing at all. I got one more question for you guys. Obviously, Kyle Long was really good in the beginning of his career. I mentioned he's a 3-time Pro Bowler. He made the second-team All-Pros in 2014, was on the All-Rookie team in 2013. But that being said, he was trending downwards ever since, I would say, about 2015 or 2016. And that's unfortunate because he was playing his best football when the Bears were not that great. Obviously, we look back on the days of Jay Cutler, and the offense was solid back then. The defense was okay. There were just problems with Mark Trestman and John Fox in those 2013 to 2016 years, I would say. So I want to ask you guys, was 2020 the right time for Kyle Long to retire? Should he have toughened it out, or should he have retired earlier? Parth, I'm going to start with you.
He doesn't want to sit on the bench, apparently. I feel like that's what it is. So for him to retire, I guess it was the right move. I'd love him for still to be on the Bears and just be a backup role or something like that. I don't ever see him as a starter in the league again. again, due to his injuries, and you can't be playing 45% of the games.
He's also cut a ton of weight, dude.
Yes,
he's got to be at least 30 pounds
like
slimmer.
In shape.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there was a joke on Twitter going how he could come back as a tight end for the Bears, but
I mean, heck, might as well.
Add another 12th one to the roster. Why not? No, I'm just joking.
Yeah.
But yeah. I doubt he can play offensive line again in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, I will say, as an athlete myself, I respect Long for toughing it out. In Chicago, obviously, I said it earlier, has been trending downwards for some time now, but still playing in 10 games in 2017, 8 games 2018. I respect him for fighting the tough fight, but this year was just tough, only 4 games played. I do think he could find a job somewhere else in the league. Obviously, he'd probably have to bulk up again, and I don't know if he'd ever be as predominant as he was from 2013 to 2015. But that being said, I do think it was the right time for him to retire. That being said, I don't really respect that he's taking shots at the coaching staff now, and he's being very nonchalant about it. I mean, like, if you're going to say something, like, come out and say it. I just want to know what's going on, because I personally respect Coach Nagy, and I think he runs a great locker room, and I don't think the Bears were wrong for quote-unquote firing him, according to Kyle Long. So, Jaylen, I want to pass it to you. Obviously, Kyle Long played 7 seasons in the league. He's the son of Howie Long, brother of now retired Eagles defensive lineman Chris Long. Was it the right time for Kyle to retire here in 2020 after only appearing in 4 games in 2019?
Now, if the way that he basically knew he was going to retire, if that's true, they basically told him like he's not the same player at halftime against the Raiders. I feel like that's like some like. I would say that's kind of rude to tell a player that, and it's not even the end of the game. It's like literally during the game. So if that's literally how it happened, I feel like it should have been handled more professionally. But yeah, I definitely feel like this is a time that Kyle had to retire. I knew if we did cut him or released him that he probably wasn't going to play for another team. That's just how Kyle is. I'm coming into this off season. I knew we were probably going to have to cut him and Prince Mukamara as cap casualties because coming into the season, 2020 season, he's going to have a huge cap hit, and we barely have money to begin with. So I kind of knew that we were going to release him, and with all the injuries that he dealt with, I'd rather him retire now than try to play, more seasons and hurt his body even more when he doesn't really have to.
Absolutely. So that's pretty much it for episode 49 of Uncut. You heard us today break down everything Kyle Long had to say today about the Bears' coaching staff. Also touched a little bit on his career in Chicago. If you want more content from us, do us a favor, head over to our website, beardown.com. You can find articles, columns, and blogs from us over there. We're trying to post stuff every single day. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Bear Down, and the links to our social media fan pages are down in the description. Parth, Jaylen McClinton, it is a weird time in the offseason right now where not much is going on, but I guess a little bit of drama kind of threw us back in the saddle today. So any last words?
We just had a couple confirmed cases of corona in the NFL today, which could be a setback. A little upset about it, but hopefully Ezekiel Elliott and the other Cowboys and Texans player recover.
Yeah, same here. Speaking on corona, right before we started this podcast, Chris sent a picture to our group chat and said Arizona cases have spiked up, and that kind of got me scared because I'm in Arizona right now. I want to go back to Illinois where cases aren't that bad, but make sure you guys are staying safe. I thought this corona stuff, got better. Obviously it hasn't, so corona is very real. Stay safe, and bear down.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I will say, before I point out the good stuff about Illinois, Arizona's testing is only up 17%, and the cases are up 138%. That means for every 1 additional test, there's 8 new cases, so Arizona does need to get some testing. But that being said, Illinois is actually decreasing in amount of cases faster than any state in the United States, so that's something that's promising. So everyone that's in Illinois, just continue to stay 6 feet away from people. We are in stage 3, groups of 10 are allowed now, so that is also promising. And hopefully we can reach stage 4, hopefully sometime in July. Bears fans, thank you so much for tuning in. Once again, I am your host, Chris Malpe. It's been an absolute pleasure. Bears fans, do us a favor, and as always, stay safe and continue to bear down. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.